Welcome to the Black Doctor Collective podcast. We as Black doctors are in a unique position. We can change our communities, healthcare, and the world. Of course, we start by changing the way we see and value ourselves. I'm your host, Dr. Shanika Horn, pediatrician and physician coach, travel extraordinaire. I am so happy to have you here and listening. So let's get into it.
Good morning. I am recording on a non-work day for once because I'm actually off. So I'm super fired up today because I have two friends who are in the same process and they actually require the same type of advice. I started this episode actually because I have a friend of mine who is job searching right now. Smart woman, good doctor, knows what she wants in life generally. And she's been working with a recruiter who asked her, just about when she was ready to present her to this new job opportunity, what salary are you looking for? And my good girl froze. Okay, well, really, she panicked and threw out a number because she wasn't prepared, right? Because she had not asked herself that question or any of the questions that come before that one. And so in that moment, that freeze, that's not a negotiation problem. That's not a I don't know how to negotiate. So don't tell yourself that. It is a preparation problem. And it starts way before these calls with the recruiter. It starts way before you even start sending out your resume. Okay. And we're going to cover that today. So by the end of this episode, you are going to understand why salary conversations feel hard and that it has nothing to do with confidence and nothing to do with negotiation skills. Okay. It has everything to do with the work that was supposed to happen before the search started. Okay. Whew. I am like super pumped because I'm literally mid conversation. So if you see me looking to my side, it's because I have another friend who is a lawyer. Hey, girl. Hey, this episode is also for you. And we're chatting on, or she's messaging me about her job search and the fact that she is underpaid. Like, no surprise, Black women underpaid. Women don't negotiate. Okay. And especially Black women. And so I'm going to tell you some stories and we're going to get through exactly how to overcome this moment. Like we're going to go through the preparation that needs to be done so that when you apply for a job or when you're reevaluating your existing job, you know exactly how to move forward. Okay, so let's start with my doctor friend. It's a good friend of mine. She is actually happy in her current job, but it's not in the location that she desires, right? It's pretty far away from family, and she's actually ready to move to a new city. Okay. She has started working with recruiters. Great. She's, putting some feelers out there. She has a potential interview at a place that she's familiar with. But obviously, this is still early in the search, right? There's no offers yet. And already she's mentally compromising. Okay. Tell me if this sounds like you. She's already telling herself that the salary offer probably won't be high enough, that she'll have to give up something, that this is just kind of how it goes. This is the status quo of changing the jobs, that in order to get something, you have to give up something else. She's negotiating against herself before she even gets the chance to start the conversation. Okay. Here's what I've noticed. She does not actually know what she needs in this job to be happy. Very specifically, not vaguely. In a vague sense, yes, she wants to move. She would love to be paid enough. That's super vague. She knows she wants like certain clinic days, certain OR days. That's, whatever, right? But these are very vague. We need to get into the nitty gritty, the specifics, okay? When you don't know the specifics, every offer feels like a gamble. You're just hoping it's going to work out. You're hoping that they're going to offer you enough. You're hoping that when you make this move, you take this leap, that it's going to be enough to sustain you. And also that, you'll be happy that you made the trade, right? I would like to, again, address that this is not a question of negotiation skills in the traditional sense of negotiating skills. Like you have to play hardball. or you have to be reasonable. Like, it has nothing to do with that. And it has nothing to do with confidence. Confidence is not the reason. Confidence is gained after you have completed something. And usually when you've completed something well, okay? We're not talking about the false confidence of white men. That's audacity. We're talking about true confidence that's gained when you do something repeatedly and you build the muscle for it. The point is that you have to be doing and practicing before you feel confident. Before. You can be doing something well, proficiently, and still not feel confident, y'all. So please stop waiting for confidence. It's not the emotion you should be chasing. It doesn't have to be present before you move forward. Okay? All right. So let's get into the actual negotiation. Negotiation starts with your life, not the job. Let me explain this. You need to design your life first. Okay. So before you open the job board, this is step one. Design your life first, right? What does a good week look like to you? These are the questions you need to be asking yourself. How many days are you trying to work? What time are you trying to be done by? Are your weekends protected or flexible? What are you not willing to give up? Right? So for me, I always am like, I don't work nights and weekends. I don't do 24-hour calls. At this point, I'm very, very, very specific about what is an absolute. So that is because when I think about my life, right? My life requires flexibility. I like to have my weekends to go do things, right? I like to do my hobbies. I like to spend time with my family, with my friends. I want to be able to go out to dinner, even on a weeknight. I don't work full time. So at the start of it, before I even open the job board, I already know what I want my regular life to look like, which means that when I start to search for the job, it is one that fits my life. So what is it that you need in your life? Is it that you have a partner that you want to spend time with? You have kids that you want to spend time with? You want to be able to pick up your kids from school? You want to spend time with your hobbies? You need work from home? You need like an admin day? Like, what is it that you need that's going to support your lifestyle? Because that is the parameter from which you search. Most people don't do that. Most people start their job search from the place of, I just want to get a job, from a place of desperation, whether I need a new job, whether I need to get out of my old job, whether I'm transitioning from training to becoming a full grown up, like whatever that transition point is, it usually has a tinge of desperation to it, right? Like, I really want this thing to happen and I want to take anything, which we don't want to do that because, especially in our position, right? Like, we front loaded training, we front loaded time and cost. So we're not coming from a place of lack of expertise. This is not an entry level in the traditional sense, right? An entry level job is when you have no skills or experience for it. That is not you. You went to school for this thing. You're building a career. This is a totally different point of entry. And if you've been in a job already, right? Like, and you're moving to a new job or your job currently sucks and you want to change, like, you're not starting from scratch. So you should not have the start from scratch mentality of like, I want to accept anything. I just need to get something. Even if you do need to get something, you need to get something that's working for you and that's sustainable. Otherwise, you're going to be right back in this same spot in a year, in 6 months, in 5 years. It depends on how long and what the challenge is, how long you'll last in that position. But that's not the kind of job we're looking for. We're not trying to operate from a place of desperation. Okay. This is now your baseline. These criteria are your baseline for the job search. You cannot negotiate towards something you have not defined. Okay. So we're not just thinking about whim and whimsy. We're thinking about concrete. This is the life I have right now. If I want to change it and make it more leisurely, if I want to make more time for certain things, if I need to earn more money for certain things, that the job needs to be able to take you there. The job is the vehicle. Okay, what does your vehicle look like? You don't go to the car lot and be like, I just need a car. I'm going to take anything. That never happens. You go being like, I need a 4-door because I need to fit a car seat, or I need a third row because I have a lot of family, or I want a convertible that has a top down, but it needs to be a hard shell, not a soft shell because of rain or what. Like you go like, I need a sunroof, I need heated seats, I need a heated steering wheel. Like you have all the specifications when you go look for a car. And then there's like the must-haves and the nice-to-have. We need to have that same exact mentality when we're looking for a job. We do not walk onto a car lot unprepared. We know what budget we're willing to spend. We know exactly the specifications. We know the make, the model. We even show up to the specific brand of car lots for the most part. This is how you look for a job. Pretend your car is the same as a job. Like your job is the vehicle, okay? All right, so step number 2 is now you have the vehicle in mind that you want, that you're looking for. You're going to build the number based on that. Okay. So most docs, most women who are negotiating calculate salary backward. You are looking at a number and then you're trying to pick something that feels reasonable, right? You're like, oh, if the range is this, I'm going to do something in the middle. You're looking at MGMA data, which is like physician salary data, which if you've heard me talk about it before, I think is, you might ask a colleague. You just are trying to guess what the market will offer. And you're trying to pick something that makes you feel reasonable. Like I said, I was talking to my friend who is not a doctor, but is also in a highly trainable career. And she was like, I'm trying to be palatable. Why? Why are we trying to be palatable? We are delicious. We're delicious as is. Okay? This is not negotiation. This is guesswork with some extra steps. So the question you actually need to answer is, what does this life actually cost? If I know that I need to work part-time, which for me, I know I need to work part-time. I like to take a certain amount of vacations. I like to support my family. I like to support my friends. I want to be able to donate to important causes. I need to be able to pay for X, Y, and Z. I need a certain amount of income in order to live that kind of lifestyle, right? In order to afford certain comforts, including where I live, how I spend my time. In order to work part-time, I actually need to earn more, right? Because it's not sustainable to work part-time earning a lot less and not being able to live the life you live. So you need to start at, what does it cost to live the life? And then work up, not down. Okay? We're not meeting in the middle at some arbitrary point. I don't know why I feel this like about this, but I think I was even frustrated at my former self, right? Like in my mind, when I negotiated, I had a number and they always had a lower number in my mind. Like if I wanted 100,000, they were going to offer me 70,000 and we were going to meet in the middle somewhere in the 80s. And then I would skip along merrily on my way, right? Like I think I learned that from TV, and that's not how actual negotiation works. We're not just picking an arbitrary number. We're basing this number on values, both my value, what I'm bringing to the job, not my intrinsic value as a human being, my value as an employee, right? Which sometimes are inextricably linked, but we're going to try to separate that. Your identity in this role is not the value of your identity as a person. If you have nowhere to start, if you're like, I have no idea, this just seems so vague and flippy floppy and not concrete at all, I want you to Google. If you look at any website and you put in your position, your years of experience or your training, you put in your region, it will give you data similar to MGM, right? But at least for someone who has no idea what to ask for, it gives you a range. Now, if you go on different websites, anything from Indeed to salary.com or whatever these websites are, there's going to be all kinds of ranges. That's okay. I want you to look at the lowest and I want you to look at the highest, right? Because I just want you to get a good range of like where you are even starting from baseline. And then I want you to take the highest number and you're going to work up from there. Okay. I also, if you are really in this, if you are really committed to finding a good salary where you are actually earning what you deserve to earn, you are going to be applying to multiple jobs, and those jobs will also have salary ranges. And that is another way to get good data about what is being offered in the market right now. Also to know, and this is why I always think that MGMA data and like Google searches and asking a friend can be a little bit skewed to the lower end, is no one puts their best offer on the internet. No job is like, oh, the max we can spend is $300,000. We're going to offer $300,000. They're like, we're going to offer 350 and see what happens. If that person takes it, great. If they want a little more, we have some room to negotiate up. So you should always be looking to negotiate up. The other thing is that the data pool is based on who knows who, right? It could be based on anybody. And it could be based on a whole bunch of people who do not negotiate, which means that the pool will always appear skewed towards the lower end, the lower salary range, right? You don't know if these people negotiated. You don't know who's in this pool and what their experience is, all of that. So that's why I say pick the higher number, not the lower number, and go up from there, because no one is offering you their best. Okay, that is how you're going to start your baseline pricing. Okay, and yes, you're going to have thoughts. There's going to be all the thoughts in your mind about whether you deserve and why you don't deserve. There are episodes in this podcast to talk about what you deserve and why you deserve it. You need to go back and look for those, okay? Because there is some mindset work that has to be done here in order to ask for a top dollar and more. One of the easiest hacks that I have to rewrap my brain on this is if I go into a job and I find out that Jessica asked for $10,000 more than I did and got it, and maybe she has the same experience as me or less experience than me, how mad am I about to be? And that's why I should ask for more. You don't know what other people are asking for. And God forbid you ask for less than what you even desired for yourself. You talked yourself out of something. And now you find out that someone else got what you wanted because they asked. You're going to be pissed as hell. And you're going to resent that for the rest of the time that you're making that salary. So don't do that. Don't cut off your nose to spite your face. Let's actually invest in the time it takes to rewire our brain and the time it takes to research what is actually worthy of you. Okay, step 3. Know your yes, your no, and your walk away before you're in the room, before you're in the interview, before you're on the phone with the recruiter. The reason the salary question caught my friend off guard is she just hadn't decided yet. When you haven't decided, you are vulnerable to whatever number lands in front of you. You're vulnerable to whatever number lands in your brain. Okay? Like, this is what I mean by negotiation is not a moment, it's a process. It starts here. Your yes and your no and your walk away are not decided under pressure. They should be decided weeks before you ever get into the room. If you get caught off guard, the internal conversation in your brain is so distracting. In the moment that someone is like, how much salary are you going to make? You're like, oh crap. Oh my God. Okay. I don't know what to say. I don't want to say too low. Oh, but I don't want to be unreasonable. Like, I don't want them to think I'm greedy. And I also want to appear confident, especially to this audience, whether it's the recruiter or the hiring director or HR or the person you're going to work for, your supervisor. And confidence looks like being prepared. So I should be prepared to answer this question, which means I'm just going to give you a number. And it's like, you're not confident and you're not sure and you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot, but you don't want to give those impressions either. So you belch out a response. One that's probably going to make you cringe for days or weeks into the future, maybe even years into the future. That is a huge, significant financial moment, okay? I have talked about this in previous podcasts. I was reading this book. It's something about women in negotiating back when I was first trying to figure everything out and even how to talk about this topic. And it produced this really easy math equation, which is just like if Luisa goes into a job and she's like, oh my God, they offered me $100,000. I'm going to take it because I just need a job. Like, oh my God, let me just get in there. I'll figure it out afterwards. And then her colleague, Brad, who does not have the same qualms that she has, and maybe they're starting from the same place. They're both fresh graduates. no on-the-job experience in that way. And he asks for 125. That's $25,000 that Lisa has now lost per annum, right? And let's say that like salary increases go by percentile. So let's say, you sign a multi-year contract and they give you a 10% increase each year that you've worked there. Or you have a 401k and they're doing a match or whatever. Like you're putting in money that's going to compound over time. You're starting at $25,000. That's only the first year. Year after year, Brad will continue to out earn you, and his money will multiply to the point where he will have earned by retirement millions more than you would have earned just from the starting point. Doesn't that piss you off a little bit? I don't have the exact numbers because I read this book so long ago, but it is in a podcast from I don't know when. I would have to look up the number of the podcast, but it is in a previous episode, the exact math of the compounding interest of not negotiating. And it was just so painful to read. I don't want you to do that, right? If you ever get caught off guard by a question, whether it is salary or schedule, just anything that you feel like, oh my God, I haven't thought about this and I haven't had time to prepare for it, do not answer the question. Please, Lord Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I beg of you, do not answer that question. Ask for time. Never answer questions that you haven't decided an answer to and you haven't given thought to. Ask for time. Say, hey, you know what? That's a great question. I actually need to get back to you on that. What is your time frame for needing a response? So that if they're like, oh, if you can get back to me in the next week or the next 24 hours, you at least have a window with which you can think about this question and not give some weird false answer that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Did I undershoot it? Am I not asking for enough? Oh crap, did I screw this up? We don't want you to go through that moment. I don't want you to go through that moment. I think that moment is so painful and also has long-lasting repercussions. I even coached my friend through this last week, my doctor friend. So she shot out a number. This episode is really about her, right? Like she just gave a number and I was like, girl, what? Why did you do that? And she's like, I know. She doesn't need me to beat her up. She's already beating herself up, right? Something I had beaten myself up over time. Like what I told her to do is after she did that was say, hey, actually I thought about it and that number is not a true reflection. Can I get back to you with a more accurate number? Like you can always ask for a redo. Or you can ask them like, hey, what is actually the salary range for this job? I do want to make sure that it actually meets the requirements of what you're asking me to do, because that's the other part that people don't take into consideration is that if you don't get the schedule you want, or if they're asking for more than you want to do, or more than you had intention to give, is the pay compensatory for that? Is what they're paying worth you giving up that thing? And you often don't know that at the start of a job search, right? You haven't worked out the nitty gritty. It's also why salary negotiations tend to come later in the process, is because you need to work out the kinks, the schedule, the benefits. Like if they're offering you something that you truly desire, like a advancement pathway, a road to partnership, part ownership, stock options, like something that's going to multiply, right? You might be willing to make a little less money because in the end, you're actually going to make out like a fat rat. So that is the question, right? It's like, what are they offering and is it worth it? So you need to know all the things that you desire and you have to be able to compare that to what they're actually offering. You have to see how what they want you to do is going to impact your vision of your life. And if they have something that's going to enhance your life down the road, that's going to be worthy of it or not. So that is why negotiation starts way before you have a conversation with a recruiter, before you get on an interview, before you get the job offer. Your dream job is not something you find, it's something you build, something you create with intention before you're in a moment of pressure, okay? Before you're sitting across from someone waiting for an answer, before you're on the phone with someone and there's a pregnant pause. Physicians who negotiate well, women who negotiate well, men who negotiate well are not more confident than you. It's not about confidence. They just did the prep work and they did it earlier. They had the conversation with themselves or maybe with a friend before they got on the phone with the recruiter, before they got in the office, before they got on the interview track, right? So if you're mid-surge, if you're mid-interview and this is hitting differently and you realize, oh, maybe I made a mistake, it is not too late. Just take a moment, stop what you're doing, do the work before you keep going, right? It's never too early to start negotiating, and the negotiation starts with you. Don't tell yourself no. Don't negotiate with yourself before someone else has the opportunity to. If this episode hits for you, please share it with a friend, someone who's currently job searching. Yes, it is geared towards physicians, but also this can work for any woman in a high earning or achieving role. They need to hear this before they get the offer. You needed to hear this before you got the job offer. And if you got a job offer and it isn't what you wanted, still do this exact assignment and prepare your counter. And you will feel justified. You will have built the evidence that you need this exact amount based on this work. I have other episodes that address like building your evidence bank about yourself and what you offer in this job. And you should also be doing that work simultaneously because you need to remember who the hell you are. Okay. Because you are that girl or that guy. You are that person. Let's not be gender assigning. You are it. Okay. So you need to be doing a couple things work-mindedly, but get it started. It's never too late. It's never too early. Just get it started. Okay. So that's your episode. That's what I got to say. And if you want to do this work, this is the steps. Go get them. Okay. I love to hear from you guys. I love to hear when you're earning more. I love to hear when you're asking. Even if you only ask for one extra thing, please just do it. Like, you will not regret it. Have a great week. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to the podcast. And what I want you to do next is link us everywhere you can. Instagram at The Black Doctor. Just become part of our collective. I want you here. Thanks. Until next time. Bye.